So in theory, we're live. Hey, welcome to the April 2016 members meeting. Coming to you live from Parkside as well, for anyone watching the live stream. All 100,000 of you, I hope. We're very popular. We've got some more tech demos tonight, as we've been running through the various tech demos throughout the year, and hoping to continue those through. So, as always, if people have some suggestions that they want to see us go through, let us know. We've got a few little items on the agenda, including an extra one. So essentially tonight we want to just do a bit of a review from the Internet of Things hackathon that we were a part of over the weekend. We helped do some of the live streaming. We've got one of the winning participants here tonight as well, so we could interview someone live if we wanted to. Also the barbecue information, because we've finished one, there's another one coming up. We've got our tech demo tonight about routing, and also Sam Greenwood has brought along the new improved Stumble kit. So essentially going back to the top, Internet of Things. So if anyone got a chance to tune in over the weekend, we had Hackspace Adelaide, Fab Lab, all the other groups got together to put on a little hackathon related to Internet of Things in the Smart City Studios in Adelaide. Friday night launch and Saturday night event, to which participants had to create something that matters in relation to the World Create Day that Hack.io, is it? The official, the big, whoever they are, sort of the worldwide hackathon group put together. And they had to use the Windows 10 IoT Raspberry Pi devices with some sensors to produce a rough sort of idea on something that would help the world further along. So we helped along by running all the media stuff there, doing video live streams like we do each month, and helping run some interviews throughout the day so that we could have various people of importance have their little 2 cents. So that went really well. There was 3 teams of 5 people, as well as some other people in the room. So we had about 40 people there on the Saturday, so that went really well. IBM and Microsoft were sponsors, so they brought along equipment, hardware, provided access to their IoT back-end services as well. So the winning team were utilising the IBM Blue Mix, whatever it is, technologies to be able to link some of the sensors they had via Bluetooth to the Raspberry Pi, up to the internet, to the cloud services, which would then manage the warnings, etc. they did. So that was quite a cool event, so we're hoping we can participate in a few more of those going forward. I don't know whether you want to talk about any of your winning project stuff. Up to you.
I can make a comment.
Yeah, you can stand up here and talk, stand from over there, either or. Fill us in on what your winning project was, because I know a number of the people in the room here weren't a part of it, so
sure. Yep.
Giving people an idea on what your project topic was and what you managed to achieve.
Yep. So the email was sent out on the Airstream kind of emails that come out kind of thing, and I've been listening to it thinking it sounded kind of interesting. And on Friday I decided, I'm not doing anything tonight, so why not just go along and see if it's kind of interesting. It could be a good opportunity to learn a bit about entrepreneurial, practices, as opposed to just hacking in the home lab or whatever.
Yep.
So that went really well. Thought it was kind of interesting. And then I didn't have a group or anything like that, so I just kind of kept going with it. Joined into a group on Saturday with 3 other kind of guys with a bit more kind of the hardware software experience, I'd say.
Yeah, you had another Airstream member, Paul Schultz, there as well, who was in your team there. So.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. Yep. Yeah, cool.
We're everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm always wondering when I see a little nano bridge or whatever on a roof if that's...
Yep.
Sparks.
Yeah. So what did your topic cover? What did your group sort of come up with a sort of premise?
Yeah, so I guess one of the guys, whose name escapes me, had the idea to, he kind of had a solution for the water leakage problem in Adelaide, which was...
That burst water mains.
Yeah, and he thought possibly some permanent sensors detecting underground soil moisture could be helpful, and so that was the idea that we focused on. It was pretty interesting. And
so you end up with a Raspberry Pi that was
yes.
connected to the IBM stuff. What sensors were you using then for the
Yep.
test?
And so basically we just joined up. As far as connecting something, basically I thought it would kind of be cool to have something connect. Well, something connect a sensor to the internet, and so that was done basically. One of the people there who was kind of helping out organise had a TI sensor tag, which had a moisture sensor and a bunch of other things, running Bluetooth for BLE. Yeah, and so we hooked that through a kind of a demo iPhone app, which one of the guys was able, who had, I don't know what the kind of experience was required, but he was able to send that through to the Blue Mix.
Yeah,
and
cool.
trigger an alarm from it. And so that, I guess that basically showed it's possible.
Yep.
To connect to that the IoT is actually a real thing, kind of thing.
Useful thing.
Yeah. And just kind of, dipping our toe in the water of what IoT is, I guess. And I think that was really interesting to kind of, to get an idea about what's possible. And just that there's, I guess this is very much the kind of the birth of an emerging field, and so I think it's really interesting. So I'm definitely glad I made the decision.
Yeah, no, it was good. We're hoping a few more Airstream members could pop along on the very, very late notice. Hopefully in future we'll have more than 3 weeks notice or 2 weeks notice for people, so they can come along and potentially have a bigger event as well. 3 full teams was good, but yeah, excellent. And so with your new fame and fortune, how are you finding life? Autographs on the street?
Well, apparently I got a Raspberry Pi out of it, so I guess I'll get in touch with the guys in the group and see where this goes. I'm just kind of whether this goes nowhere at all, or if I can kind of continue to learn a little bit about this emerging field. I think it's definitely been worthwhile.
Yeah, excellent.
So
cool. If people have IoT questions, hit him up. Good.
Yeah,
it's glad you could come along. That's it. Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you. Beautiful. So next on the agenda, I would say then would be some barbecue stuff. We've got our resident barbecue expert here, Mr. Tony. As some of you are aware, we had a barbecue back on the 26th of March, was it? Or
6th of April.
The 6th of April of the Woodville. Getting this right? Woodville Bunnings? I was there, but it was a long time ago. So that was a new Bunnings for us to hit up, and middle of the week as well. So that was a little bit difficult to get some helpers, but we managed to find enough people. I had a list of the people who were helping, but Raymond was there, Sam, Bernie, who else? You had the list? Samphy appeared for a while, and Tony, so I think he was just there to eat the sausages, Samphy, yeah. So thank you to the helpers. It's our major source of fundraising these days, with Aslan on the decline at the moment, and our memberships are just a steady $50 per person. We're trying to branch into the other avenues to get some more fundraising, so barbecues have been a fantastic avenue, and Tony's been invaluable in contacting the various Officeworks and Bunnings and anyone else that'll let us set up a barbecue and sell some sausages. So what did we end up hitting up there, Tony, in some sort of totals?
On the day we raised $820.
Sweet, $820 that we brought in. Is that our biggest barbecue yet?
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Yes, it is.
Setting new targets. It's going to be harder to achieve that high bar you're setting there, Tony. But
the plan is,
if you want, yeah.
Well, we have booked the barbecue now at the same store, Bunnings Woodville, on the 24th of June, and to top it off, we've got the following day we've got a barbecue at Officeworks, 25th of June. So hopefully we can get people that can't make it during the week can put their heads in on Saturday, because the Officework ones have been quite good, and this is at the end of the year, their end of the year sale, which is quite busy. Last year we raised $500 on that particular venue. So with the Woodville Bunnings and the Officework one, we hope to raise a substantial amount of funds this time. So we'll be pushing this to all the members over the next few months. Sean will be posting notices and reminders to ensure people that can plan to be there on one of those days at least anyway, just for a few hours would be invaluable.
Yeah, so we'll be, like we've done previously, we'll put up registration of helpers form, the volunteers form, so that we can get as much help as possible. And for those of you who haven't been able to help before, essentially you register your interest and show what times you're available, and then I assemble a timetable. So you're not there for the whole day. I'll slot you into some timetabling positions to allow you to just come along for a 1.5 hour block or a 3 hour block. So especially in the midweek ones, for some people you can get a block off across lunchtime, so you can come out and help a bit with the barbecue. Others that have got shift work that can pop on around those certain times. So especially these midweeks, they've been a little bit more challenging, but we've got to take what we can get. We don't get a choice of picking weekends all the time. So we'll get those forms out to the members hopefully end of this week for both the Friday and the Saturday in June, so we can start to get people putting them in their calendars and clear up some space. So your help is invaluable in that, because it allows us to continue to generate funds, build out the network, push even further north and south as we're trying to do, as well as just paying for the normal stuff we need to, the insurance we pay for each year, various pieces of equipment failure and maintenance that we need to look after, etc. So yes, please help out where you can. Moving on from that, do we want to go into BGP stuff? We'll finish with that. We can have a look at some of the Stumble Kit extravaganza. Sorry?
Network report first.
Oh, that's right. We've got a network report in the middle there somewhere. So you didn't let me know beforehand. So I'll have to open the floor to you then, Justo. We do it every month. That's true.
Right, I'll let Sam go first.
All right, up you get, Samby.
We'll talk about it in a sec. Those people that don't know that.
Cool. As you know, last or Monday? So Monday, I believe we upgraded the sector at UniSA to an AC Lite, which means that AC clients can connect to the sector. We had all 7 clients upgrade to Beta 8, which means when we put it up there, they all came back. And it seems that all the links are about the same, nothing really changed.
People pay for it.
Yep, other than that, I advise the current clients to upgrade to version 6 Beta 9, which I've attached to the ticket for you to download. Other than that, yeah, that's pretty much UniSA. Just a...
Performance improvements for anyone?
Not really, only PH3, which upgraded to AC.
Yep.
And that does about 60 both ways.
So we encourage everyone to upgrade then?
Should give you a general speed increase. And as you can see, that's the clients on the sector.
Yeah. Oh, this is an iPhone, right?
Look at that airtime.
There's the airtime on that.
As you can see, PH3, the rates are a lot better than the end clients. They're on the sector.
So he's the worst connected?
There's someone at the bottom there with IRC with NEC 88. Is that always there?
Wow.
No, that's... I thought that link was a lot better. I thought that link...
There's something wrong because those signals are way out too. Look.
Yeah, because
It's just them, the others are stable.
when we swapped it over, that was like neg 68, close to.
Whose is it?
I don't know. They haven't named their client, their radio properly, so we can't tell whose it is.
Right.
Other than that, yeah, the general improvement about the same. No performance degradants.
So this is the one that upgraded, this one here.
Only thing that we have noticed is any of the XM clients, you may experience packet loss because of the beta firmware.
As it is a beta firmware.
Does the affect other clients as well?
It shouldn't affect clients on XM, but who knows? It is a beta firmware. So from people I've heard from, good reports of increase in speeds and rates and stuff. So good so far. I'm sure Sam will update the ticket, and we would like to urge people connected to it to keep ahead with the firmware upgrade, which Sam will keep in the ticket. Just making sure we keep on the latest beta version until it's stable, which will hopefully be pretty soon. Alrighty, a bit of a network update. Cool. So I'll go through our network meeting minutes and read out anything that's actually of interest. Have we had a meeting since we did Shadow Park, or we did that recently? We did Cement Hill since then, didn't we? I didn't plan to do that. Okay, cool. Anyway, Northern Ace, we were going to do a whole bunch of Northern AC upgrades and upgrading that whole path through to Unius from Ingle Farm to ERC. We're not doing that in its entirety now. We're doing a point-to-point from Ingle Farm to ERC, which I've discussed in previous meetings. That's all the gear for that is in. It's all configured. I need to get it to the appropriate people to organise an install date, which will hopefully pretty soon. I've got some interesting things that happened. So we did a visit to Cement Hill and O'Halloran Hill, and we had great success, except for the sector, which I'll talk about in a minute. But so we aligned the Cement Hill to O'Halloran Hill link. We originally got it down from neg 74 to neg 55. Then we went to the other end and got the chains all matched up to about 55, 56. Link is great. I dialed the power all the way down to like 60 dBm. Still does 90-90 in both directions. It's a very short link, but there is a few trees, which is actually performing way better than anyone thought that it would. While we're at Cement Hill, we put up the backbone link to SLS West Beach, which was supposed to be installed last visit, but they ran out of time. And that was great too. I think we got that down to neg 52 or something. So again, I've dialed the power all the way down to that. Sits about 65 and does about 60 megabit both ways, which you can't argue with on N. Which is good. I mean, I got up there and I said, you can see the dish on West Beach, so it should work when you're standing on the ground. We had a bit of an issue. We had to make room for the point-to-point. So we had to, one of the 2.4 gigahertz sectors were malfunctioning anyway, so we decided to put the point-to-point up there. The issue is we had to leave the sector up there because I was using those Lambolan sectors and the bracket was rusted to the outrigger. Chris couldn't undo it without an angle grinder, so that's still up there on the mast. Cool. So also I did a bit of optimization on the Highgate to O'Halloran Hill link and more success. So we've got that whole path, West Beach, Cement Hill, O'Halloran Hill, Highgate, does 70 megabit all the way through on a single TCP thread speed test. And we got going to Shadow Park, it's about 60 megabit to Shadow Park, and back something about 30. Bit of noise, needs to be reallocated. But we'll do that. Lonsdale also had its upgrade, which I believe Adam talked about last meeting. But it's got a nano bridge. The backhaul was placed with a nano beam from a nano bridge. We had to replace a faulty RF element sector. Well, the radio was faulty, but we just had a whole sector, so we put it up. Yeah. Any questions about any of that south stuff?
Brian mentioned about the cable too, the guy cable.
Guy cable? Yeah, that cable. Unfortunately, we went back to Cement Hill and there was another broken guy wire. So these duck bills that we use, which I don't actually have one to show you, but there are probably some in Mr. Faunt's car. But yeah, so there's we use a duck bill, we hammer a duck bill into the ground which pulls up and kind of holds the wire steadily. Unfortunately, the galv wires that we got have been snapping, so we've ordered replacements for all of the remaining ones, so it's stainless steel, and hopefully they'll last a little bit longer. That will be repaired next site visit. Tony's remember to grab those off Sam. The duck bills for the wires. Sam's got
In the
them.
back of my car.
So they're good. Unisay, we spoke about Unisay already. Carrick Hill's obviously been having problems, been down for a while, so we did end up getting a power box, didn't we?
Joseph has the power box.
Yeah, so we did get a power box on an edge point, because there was a whole conversation. Cool, so Carrick Hill's getting a power box to go on the mast, all the gear, so we can get rid of all that funky routing that happens there as well, and have it all done properly. And that power box is good because we can either use it somewhere else later on when we finally do sock race to Carrick Hill, or use it, so not all a loss. So Ingle Farm. So Ingle Farm is obviously getting a sector as well in replacement of the PG4 backbone. So that sector is ready to go. I just need to organise a date and give the clients some notice so they can change their gear or do whatever they need to do for the sector. So that'll be pointing in exactly the same direction. That'll be pointing in the same direction the current backbone is. So though the person on the backbone should get probably the same amount of performance, I'd imagine, off an AC sector. You sent me a link. Oh, you sent me a link for that. Right, all good. That's basically all I've got at the moment. Unless anyone can think of anything I've missed. Does anyone? Yeah, Goon could talk about Goon's house.
Independent size.
Got pictures?
Of Goon's house? No, we're too busy falling through the roof.
That was right.
Scotty always did fall through the damn roof. All good. So that does it for my network report. Network team will be meeting again on the 5th of May. If anyone wants to email me about anything you want us to discuss, if you want to come along and tell us something, being like, hey guys, you should really upgrade this so me and these 4 clients can connect.
Really?
Look at that, I need to schedule an update. Just click close.
It's going to reboot anyway.
Yeah, so open up command prompt will start shutdown -A. It's because I don't use this, it doesn't have my WSUS policies on it. Oh, there's no shutdown in progress. Oh well. No problems. Do we want to do that now or do we want to wait for the computer to restart?
I'll give that a restart and we'll
Still gonna
jump in and I'll tease everyone on the live stream about what our amazing door price is tonight. So, continuing in the theme of Internet of Things, we've managed to get our hands on a Onion Omega board, which are not massive in Australia, not many people are using it, but essentially it's a little Internet of Things. We'll come right in close and see whether we can see it. Tiny, tiny little board, kind of like your Arduino and bits and pieces. They run little apps. This particular Onion board, which is just a little bit there,
Yeah, I'm doing it now.
has the expansion module to allow you to plug extra things in, as well as the Ethernet module. So this is a complete package. You're able to run this across your network, power it via USB, add all the other little bits of apps that are on the Onion website. So in continuing our IoT theme, our door prize tonight is the little Onion Omega board. So we'll have the ticket prices.
Are they analog?
Sorry?
Darren Roebuck.
Thanks to Darren Roebuck for...
Are they analog? The inputs?
You'll have to do some research. Darren Roebuck has provided this one for members' door prize raffle. So it's got micro USB for powering, but it actually has full-size USB as well as Ethernet. So you can do all sorts of little bits and pieces with it. So quite a neat little package. So do a bit of Googling if you want, but people on the live stream, you should have come to the meeting. So Goon, I might hand over to you quickly while the network guys are sorting his laptop out.
We'll do the same laptops.
For Goon's thing?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that'll be fun. Give it a shot.
I want to see it reboot. I'm not convinced it will.
I'm convinced it will. I've got the thing open need to do.
Good take.
Went up.
Oh, it's a cable. Must be his new shoes.
My glued shoe. Hi guys. So don't know if some of you might remember. Probably about 6 months ago, I started working on a little bit of software that would make our lives stumbling easier, because we all know how much fun doing a site survey is and recording results and remembering what happened and everything else. Sort of lost steam on it for a while and came back to it a few weeks ago and sort of got it all finished up and put together. So this is what the new Stumble kit looks like. Nice and small. So we've got a 750 UP in here to power everything. Air gateway for local wireless. And then we're using a BeagleBone Black, which runs the software that I've written to record all the Stumble results. This was the old kit, which didn't really have any of that. So
and
yeah.
a big panel.
And a big panel, I mean, this could have a big panel, but it doesn't at the moment. It's only got the one 5 gig radio, but we could add as many as we like. So yeah, this is the software here. It's just a little web app. So you can see this is a survey that I did earlier before, just to make sure everything was working.
Where is it at your house?
On my laptop.
Oh, it's on my phone.
Yeah, obviously it's on my laptop because this is not plugged into anything.
It's loading.
You broke it.
In before 500.
I can go to sleep.
I don't know.
Took too long to respond.
It's a Mac. I'll just get water.
It's quite possible that Ethernet link will be causing issues with it.
What?
You can pull it if you want.
Oh, it was. Broke that then.
Refresh, please.
Yeah, it looks nicer than that. Please refresh.
Hey, so here we go. So this is the results of a stumble from my Omni in C. So it just shows you, what is it? Yeah, my Omni. So it shows you all the SSIDs and what their best signal was. That's like the end result, right? You want to see what you saw the best and that's what you sort of really care about. You just click on back. You just type in the box up there, so you can type in the name of your survey, so we can just call it Parkside. So the lovely box next to it, it has all the devices. So at the moment we just set up the one Ubiquiti device, so the idea is you can have like 3 different radios or whatever, 2.45, whatever you want, different channel widths, everything,
So I can stumble 900.
all on here, and you can just be like turning it slowly, it will scan all of them at once, save all the results, and then you can look at it at a later time. You don't have to like fumble with your phone or your laptop on the roof and the pole and everything else. So yeah, if we just click on create survey, my laptop, that's great, we can just sit here and wait and some things should come up soon.
These things in the indoor we're going to see.
Sure. Not sure. This is the anti-line update.
Try to refresh it.
Yeah, maybe.
It is Chrome. It's looking broken.
Nope.
It is refreshing. It's just not getting any data. It looks like.
Anyway, so that's a general idea. I'll have a look at that in a minute. So I'll just pass this around if people want to have a look.
Is that
We-
the same
we need
script
this
that's
running.
running at, so you're running that script at your house?
In the bin.
That will be
Back
on
on the battery.
on that board.
The rest of it. You can tell them doing it, or I should take it.
Do we need to stumble anything? Sorry, do you need this? Do you need this? Do you need this?
Now,
Or like next week? Can I take it? Is my question. Can I have it to stumble?
I want to do I still want to do a stumble down Howard Hill, and I still want to do,
Oh, no, you take it then.
I still want to do Ryan's, but
You take it.
thinking,
That's alright. I was just trying to buy time for Goon. Good old Goon dev. Please more console. I don't actually have anything to lead into.
Just sort of talk about what's going on with that at the moment.
Oh, the great thing about these when you're stumbling, right? So the problem I've always had with Microtik radios, when you're stumbling, is that they have this silly thing called a default scan list, which only does whole channels. It's really annoying. And it's a very easy setting to miss because it's in the advanced tab. So this kind of gets rid of that, and other things like routers dropping out and stuff like that is just annoying, stumbling. Also, these things are heavy. That's weird. This other one's hopefully a little bit lighter.
fully extended.
Yeah, so I do have a poll
It's already
like
taller.
this for the other one as well, so you can go up. But yeah, that's the general idea. We just need to get a battery for it as well. But yeah, then it'll be all good to go.
Is it broken, is it?
It's broken. I don't know what broke. But yeah, that should be like ready to go like next week. If people want to borrow it or grab the software, I'll write up how to put one together. So yeah, anyone can build one. All you need is a Raspberry Pi and a router board or a Ubiquiti device, and you should be ready to go.
Do we approve two?
Hmm?
2 stumble kits or one?
Hand it back over to Sean, who is gone.
Sean is gone. I'll go into my BGP talk,
Okay.
but someone has to take the stumble kit. Thank you, back to reconnect all that stuff you disconnected me from. See if you can get it working. Maybe. Okay. Can you pull up the wiki page for me? I'm going to talk a little bit about BGP. I am nowhere near qualified to talk about BGP. But I will talk about how I use it in Airstream and how Airstream generally uses it. So BGP is Border Gateway Protocol. It's the routing protocol we use on our nodes. It's kind of simple and kind of not simple at the same time. But I think is that what you guys use in WA, BGP as well? I don't know why you use anything else, but yeah, cool. So BGP basically routing protocol tells routers or tells its border router what it has access to, and then its border router tells it what it has access to, and then they make a path. And it makes these paths using router identifiers called AS numbers. They have a full name, but yeah, not a system numbers or whatever. So they're basically they come in lots of different sizes. We use 4-bit ones, don't we? We use 5-digit ones, which you can see on my 32-bit, yeah, correct. Which you can see on our webpage. So if you open up the node DB, which is the next tab, sorry, yeah, that's good. You'll notice that in the node DB where you list all your nodes, there's these numbers. If you scroll all the way to the top, it will say AS number. So basically, that's not scrolling, but sure. You know, some nodes have them, some nodes don't. So basically AS. So basically, a node gets assigned one of these when it's a routing node, usually when it has multiple links, or a subnet it has at the router. They need other routers to be able to reach it. So basic terminology is, or very basic, I lost my text is that you have 3 routers. Each router knows about its subnet. So this knows about 10.1, this knows about 10.2, this knows about 10.3, but this router doesn't know about this one doesn't know about this one, etc., etc. So you use BGP between them. So this one connects to this one goes, I know about this subnet to router 2, router 2 goes, cool, I know about this subnet to router 1, and then now they can reach each other. So this router knows how to get to this. So we can route packets and stuff over that. Then, for example, router 2 will have a BGP session with router 3. Now, router 2 will say, I know about 10.2, and it will say, I know about 10.1. So instantly, this router can reach 10.2 and 10.1. And then this route, obviously, router 3 will tell router 2 about its subnet, and then router 1 can reach that via this way. Now, this will follow this path because this is how it works. So simply this router 1, knows that he has to go to router 2 to get to router 3, or get to the subnet on router 3. And things like, if you did a BGP between these, you create a triangle, but then this router knows it can go directly to this router, kind of thing. And that's the thing about BGP, where you can have multiple links, and it will tell each other about subnets and shortest paths. So BGP routes using shortest path. So it'll always generally take the shortest path unless there's some kind of filtering or something in place to do it. And you can, AS BGP routing paths kind of look like this. If you go to my network page, which is the one before this one, I think. Needs more click. And make it big. A little bit, yeah. Can you guys see that? Yep. maybe a little bit smaller so it doesn't cut it. Yeah, cool. So this is what it looks like. So basically, my side is 65453. That's my AS number, because that's always the first hop in the chain. And then Paradise, because that's my next hop. I've only got one hop out. But then it goes, so for example, it knows that 10.48.1.0/24, which is a WACAN IP address, is reachable via this router, this router, this router, this router, then to these guys, and then to the AS number. So if you scroll up and find something more interesting, like some Airstream ones. So this is basically what the BGP routing table looks like from my place. You'll notice that it always goes to my AS first, then my Paradise's AS, usually, unless it goes out via AFC, which it shouldn't. But you'll see that. That's basically what it looks like. And when it gets to I, it means internal, or it means it's at a destination. That's what that looks like. Cool. Alright, so I'll give you a bit of a demo on a basic BGP peer and a basic announcing your network. So there's two steps to it, or there's a few steps, but there's two main steps. One, you establish a peer with your neighboring router. Obviously assign yourself an AS number, and then you announce your subnet that's at your router. So you can tell the router next to you that you have that subnet. So if we open up Winbox for Parkside, which is not the MAC address one, yep, and go to, so this is Parkside, this BGP bit in Router OS. We'll just hold up. That's all good. So basically, let's say this is Parkside, and this is our AS members node, or members meeting, and AS members has this subnet, and Parkside obviously has this subnet, and it obviously knows about the rest of the Airstream network, the updates. So we're going to basically create a peer between the two. So we're going to assign AS members a AS number, and then we're going, Parkside's already got one. And we're going to create a peer on Parkside, create a peer on our AS members router, and then we're going to announce our subnet. And I'll give you an example of that, that we can't and can't reach it when it comes up. But I've got to wait for my computer to restart.
So Justo, why are we doing dynamic routing and not just static?
Okay, so why are we doing dynamic routing and not static? So you think about how big the network is. So last time I checked, it was like 612 prefixes or subnets that we were announcing. Imagine doing static routing on every router for every one of those prefixes. That's why we try and do that's why we do dynamic routing. I believe that's probably the best way I can add it. You think about it, you have to add 600 and something routes on every router you set up. And then you got to add those 600 and something routes on the next router so that router can route those, etc., etc. I'll show you the routing table that BGP auto populates when we get back into Winbox. Afterwards, I'll show you an example. What was the other things? Why? Does that answer the question? Kind of.
Too difficult. Why BGP and not OSPF?
Why BGP and not OSPF?
Or RIP? Or
Good old RIP. Didn't we used to use RIP?
a little bit.
Back before my day. OSPF is, I think, a little bit more complicated. In OSPF, you kind of have these different areas that you have. You have like a backbone area and area 0 and all this other stuff. BGP is kind of, you establish a peer to your next router and knows about your subnets. It's what they use on the internet, which is really good. So Intnode's router knows about all of Intnode's BGP on its network, and then it peers with TPG, and then it goes, oh, I know how to get to the rest of that through there. So, but they do some kind of fancy stuff as well, so it's all good. I don't know if it's actually updated to the latest technical preview. This could be interesting.
Then you can install all the things.
Does everyone have to use BGP?
No. So actually, that's a good question, actually. So BGP is more or less used if you've got a subnet or multiple links at a site. I mean, most client nodes that have one link have basically this one IP address, and they set up a gateway and a static route, and they route the entire Airstream subnet out to the next router. which is fine. BGP is mainly used when there's two links. I told you. I told you it'll update.
Might grab another laptop.
This will take.
This will take a while. So if you plug your laptop in, or do Macs do that? Where's your Ethernet adapter? Well, you don't need an Ethernet adapter, you need a...
He's looks at me, he's like, "You got everything, you got it."
Cool, get over there. Well, he doesn't have an Ethernet port on his either.
Nothing gets plugged into this.
I got USB Ethernet adapter here, so we're alright. You got HDMI.
You don't want to see this WhatsApp stops.
It's alright, get
Not
this.
the best option.
We'll wait for this Mac guy. So, yeah, mainly multiple link sites.
Can you do Winbox, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mac can do some things. Windows can.
I'll just reboot the Windows.
Oh, reboot the Windows and wait 4 years for that to happen.
Probably have that Windows.
Cool. So, yeah, mainly sites with multiple links, so it can determine, it can route through traffic mainly. Yeah, there's not much need for it at a node with one link, but if you have a subnet, for example, I have one link at my house, but I have a routed subnet. So my subnet at home is actually an Airstream subnet. I've got a /25 that I assigned, and all my computer uses that. So that means I basically do no NAT between me and Airstream. But because I do that, I have to have a firewall instead. So it's a bit different. So there is upsides, downsides. I mean, I do some sites where it has multiple links and it has its own subnet, and then I NAT between the local LAN at the site. That's a very common setup, I believe, for main hostnet sites. It's what LCC does, and FBA do that as well. Yeah. I mean, it's really personal preference if you want it, depending on what you do, really. I mean, there's cool, like you can do routing filters and stuff.
Windows is good.
Oh, so you booted into Windows.
Is there a feature for like bandwidth? Does it have like awareness of like this link's better than?
No, not really. No, BGP does really just work on shortest path, which is why sometimes it can get a bit iffy when someone does like a 20-kilometer link between two nodes. In that case, there's things like filters and stuff we can apply on that link to make it seem longer so it doesn't route traffic over it. But generally, BGP doesn't know about that. I mean, you can weight routes and stuff like that by using filters, but it's
So you could say like you could just say this link is pretty dodgy, and then everyone would know that not to use that kind of thing.
sort of. So it has to be done on the two border routers.
Yep.
It's probably the best way to do it. I mean, there's other ways you can do it, but those two routers at either end of that link need to be what we call prepended, or local preferenced, or whichever combination of the two. Needs more on a Winbox list. That's something that it kind of lacks over OSPF. OSPF can kind of be told about link speeds. Although I'm not an OSPF expert either, so.
In the setup Airstream runs on, there's no perfect routing protocol because all of our links aren't consistent 10 megabit or 100 megabit or gigabit like your internet carrier links are. You know you purchase a gigabit carrier so you can weight it accordingly. The Airstream links are all over the place and can be up and down.
Get your previous password.
It's sort of best case scenario for what we do in Airstream. Like Justin was saying, if there's a link that we know is particularly bad, we're going to prepend it so that less traffic goes across it, but it's there as a backup link.
Yeah.
So, and to ensure you have redundancy in the network, but you're not sending too much across it.
Perfect example of that is the backup link we had at Ingle Farm to EARC. So we had a link that literally went straight from Ingle Farm to EARC. It only did like 15 megabit or whatever. But the path from Ingle Farm to UniSA to Gulfview Heights to EARC is the fast path. So you prepend that path so it doesn't go over the shortest one. And then when the link goes down,
Then every 6 months we'll get UniSA power outages.
yeah, hopefully it'll stop now. Needs more needs more GPS. That's what it needs. Yeah, I was thinking that so many different acronyms in my head. Cool. Okay, so we're back. So I was showing BGP table. So routing BGP. So obviously Parkside's got its BGP number, which is 65522. So you double click that. Basic setup is enter your AS number in the AS box and click OK. That's simple. Cook, you need to learn to do this. Here, watch.
I told you.
Piers. So this is your piers. So Parkside's connected to the Highgate. So Parkside's got a BGP pier to Highgate. So basically, open that up. So basically, what we're saying here is, so we gave it a name. It's on the default instance, which we said on the other page. Remote address is the IP address of the AP at the other end. So Parkside's obviously, I think Parkside's 36, 10.123.0.36. We're saying the remote AS, so Highgate Park's AS number is 65504. Next top choice default, this is set wrong, so it should be for self, but that's cool. And then everything else we manually leave default. Whole times to do with how long it takes a timeout up here when it hasn't received any updates, etc., etc. So click OK. And that's basically a setup for a peer. So the next tab of that you need to be aware of is networks. So this is where you select your networks that you want to announce to the neighbouring routers that you have peers to. So obviously we've got 10.112.0.64, which is Parkside's local LAN address. So Parkside's devices are all on that thing. So Nanabeam back to Highgate is the Omni, the router, are all on that subnet. And then 10.123.1.0/27, which is the Omni subnet, which we are connecting to right now. Basically that says, this is saying, hey Highgate, 10.112.0.64/27 is here. Tell your neighbours. And Highgate goes, no problems. Hopefully, usually. If you go to the advertisements tab, this is sometimes a bit different in, so this is just this, so yeah, this is sometimes a bit different. This is just showing IBGP routes, but we'll have a look at the routing table now. So you go to IP routes. So these are all the routes it's receiving from BGP. Usually this list would be empty. I'll show you an example on the other router. If you go to Boombox, and go to IP routes. So this is the 750p on the table there. So that's only got those routes. So I've told it that 10.96.0/11 is reachable via Parkside. So that's the entire Airstream subnet reachable via that. So that's basically static routing. And it knows about its local subnets. And that's about it. I mean, it doesn't know where everything is. So it doesn't have BGP. So we're going to make it have BGP. And you'll see this populate. So we're first going to find an AS number. So we're going to open up Chrome. I'm going to go to network.wfx.wan. I had all this prepared, but my laptop restarted, so I'm sorry guys. This is a tool I made because finding a free AS number was difficult. So if you go to AS numbers, it might take a second to load, just go pull data from SQL database. And this is basically the entire AS number assignment from Airstream. So we start at the bottom, which is great. Keep scrolling down. Some people jump the gun. And here's all the, so you can see all the sites, which AS numbers are assigned to the sites. And this pulls this from the NodeDB. So basically, what we're going to do is scroll to the top. It also says if it's active on the BGP table. For example, Megabyte has 65339 assigned to him, but it's not actually viewable on the table at the moment, so the site must be offline or something. So scroll up all the way to the top. So the script's really easy, and Shadow uses the scripts to give you AS numbers. So just to tell you the next, next 5 free AS numbers are here. And this is just some random debugging that I've set up to say that these are being announced, but they're not actually assigned to anything. So we're going to use 65350, which is this one, because it's the next one, what the script says. So we're going to go into here, we're going to go to routing, we're going to go to BGP, and we're going to set our instance, which is our default instance, to that AS number, which is 65350, and click apply, and click OK. Then we're going to go peers. So what we're going to do is, because I've got static routing set up on this already, I'm going to open up the routes page as well. And we're going to go open that up. We're going to add a new peer we're going to call it Parkside, because we're adding a peer to Parkside. So this is AS members to Parkside. It's on our default instance. The remote address is the address that I'm currently routing to, which I believe is 10.123.1.1. You're signed into Hangouts, it's not my laptop. Yep, get onto it. And then Highgate's AS number, which is 655504, I believe. One less 5. Yep. And we're going to set the next hop choice to force self. We recommend force self. It does help with some things on multi-point APs, where instead of looking like two sides are directly connected, it'll actually hit the router. So you click apply. Now, this is all well and good. We've got our peer set up, but it's not going to connect because Parkside doesn't have a peer to us. So we're going to go to Parkside. And we're going to go to routing BGP. And we're going to go to peers. And we're going to add a peer to AS members or members meeting. So we can add Creative Cloud. So we're going to call it members meeting or whatever. Yeah. Remote address. So that would be. Question actually. 10. So it's Parkside's WAN address, which is click Parkside. Yep. That router. Go to IP addresses. And the IP address we are assigned from Parkside is 110.123.1.2. That should have been simple because there's only one client on there.
Cool.
Yeah, that's fine. Just leave it. It'll go away. It would have gone away faster if you didn't click it.
10.123.1.2.
2. And our remote AS number, which is 65. Yep. It's the one we just set, which is on. And set the next hop choice to force self. And click OK. That's all good. If we've done everything correctly there and we've entered our AS numbers correctly, this peer should establish. It's not looking very well, is it? Now.
That's good, so you can do some troubleshooting.
Yeah, cool. So open up the log file, open up the RouterOS log. It says established. Connection closed. Go to the other router. That's the same router. And go to the log.
Can you ping those?
Network is unreachable. Nanostation connected? Yeah, it is. So try pinging it. So, yep.
Should they remove 51.0?
What is this?
It's a subnet address.
Close that.
Sanfi fail.
Sanfi fail. Remote address. Yep. Make sure the remote address is set properly.
So what was one?
It's 1.1.
Oops.
Okay. Cool. Now it should establish. Open set. No. So what's it say down here? Invalid? Something. Invalid AS number.
No, it's not the right one. It's 56552.
Oh, because we're doing Parkside. Sorry, I gave you Highgate's router number. So change that to 65.
Valuable troubleshooting test.
It is valuable.
By design, right, Justin?
Exactly by design. It's not the fact that moving up forever. 2.2. Yep. And apply. And now hopefully all our troubleshooting is paid off. And we get a connection. Now it's cool. So Parkside's obviously connected now, has an uptime. The remote ID of the router is that. So that could be whatever it's set to or whatever one it picks up automatically. The uptime of the peer and how many prefixes or subnets or routes it's receiving from the peer. So that's obviously receiving 463 and obviously the connection state. So now if we look at our advertisements, I'm not sure if it's going to actually say this. No, it's all good. So if we go back to IP routes on this router now, we'll notice that we have a big long list of routes, which is great. That's exactly what we want. So now if we, that's all good. So now basically, Parkside can reach out, but I bet you if you ping from this router to 10.90, first we need to go to IP firewall, go to NAT, disable that NAT rule. So we don't need a NAT anymore because we're going to route, and that's great, that works. Why does it work? Go to open up the Parkside router. Go to IP routes. Scroll down, down. Stop. Up. So I think I statically routed this. No, go back up. What's that? No, keep going down. Yeah. So that's the static as well. Keep going down. Probably some weird nap. Anyways, basically what I want to say is that if we open up Parkside in the members DB, it's probably doing something like that. Look at that. That's a good URL. LastPass doesn't save it, eh? We're almost done, I promise. You want to open up Airstream members. Members meeting is the node you want to go to. Yep. So usually what we'll do after we assign our AS number, we'll go in here, we'll go to edit our node and type our AS number in the AS box. The node DB will confirm that our AS number is free, and then we'll save it and it'll be all good so it doesn't get assigned to anyone else. Anyway, if we grab this subnet here, which is our local subnet on our Airstream, for our My Little Nanostation stuff over there, and copy that. And if we go into, for example, go back to Chrome, and go back to Network Tools, and go to BGP, and go Control F, and paste that in there. You notice it's not finding any results, so this subnet is currently not on the BGP routing table. We've established a peer, we're receiving prefixes from other routers, but we're not sending out our own prefix. So we need to do that. So we're going to go back into Router OS on our router. Going to go to our routing BGP, and now this time we're going to do networks. If we add a network, this is as simple as that, as typing our subnet address in and ticking the synchronize button if we're using Router OS 6, and click apply. Just be wary if this isn't if an IP address in that range is not assigned to a interface, and you click the synchronize button, it will not announce it. Be aware of that. Use synchronize on Router OS 6 because we were getting a BGP flapping issue that was maxing out CPUs on routers, where they'll go unreachable, then reachable, unreachable, unreachable. Synchronize fixed that, so it's a good enough fix for us. So now if we go back to the PHP webpage and refresh it, and providing that BGP is updated already all the way to my house, which is 10 hops, yeah, it doesn't take long to load. Control F, and that's still no. That's cool. So usually it would show up in this. We've got to wait for BGP to update and do its thing, providing you enter the right subnet into the. There it is. Look at that. And it knows that it has to take that path to get here, which would be. Yeah, I'm working on a modified version to sort of put node names next to the AS numbers, but that'll be pretty cool. But yeah. That's basic BGP. And then if you have another link, say example, Parkside had a link to, what's close, Cement Hill, not close, but say for example. You set up another peer. An example would be Highgate Park. It's Highgate Park. You set up another peer, you establish it's a remote router at the other end, which is all well and good. Your route table will end up, close that, go to routing BGP, go to peers. You'll end up looking like this. So this router obviously has a lot of peers, whether it be clients or backbone links. For example, O'Halloran Hill. And you'll see that your prefix count changes. So for example, AA has the shortest path for 35 prefixes compared to all the routes it has. For example, Core 1 has the shortest route to 309 prefixes, etc., etc. So you're receiving those prefixes from those routes, and BGP works all that out automatically for us by talking between themselves. Yeah, and then that's basically it. And then your route list will end up looking like this route list. It'll have blue routes, which are redundant ones, which are reachable but not active. The A means active in the flags there, but you'll see that most things that are reachable via the Core 1 are reachable via bridge LAN because that's the interface they're reachable by, and things like the O'Halloran Hill subnet is reachable via VLAN O'Halloran Hill because it knows it has to go out that interface to that router to get to it. Now, some of what I've probably said you probably took in, some's probably confusing, I probably spoke too fast, but yeah, You'll see, for example, this little one up here, which is our DNS address, is getting announced. And it's only a single IP, not a subnet, so you can announce single IPs as well. Not that I recommend you do it. Cool. Any more questions? Or anything I haven't covered, or anything I've missed, or anyone have any questions I think should be answered?
Quick question.
Yep.
How do the radicals track without any routes?
It's great. The only time we ever had an issue was back when someone leaked some routes off the internet. We haven't had any issues yet, I don't believe, except for that one incident.
It was only the flapping that was causing problems.
Yeah, just that flapping thing, which is clicking that synchronise button fixes. It's something to do with negotiation or something. There's not really. We submitted a bug request to Microtik, and the Microtik were like, send us this, then we found the button and it worked. So, yeah, that's basically what I have for everyone.
Excellent.
That's cool. If on the BGP list, you'll notice that some things like maybe Internode DNS servers are available over Airstream. If you scroll right to the bottom of the list, you'll see that there are some prefixes that are announced that are internet addresses, like these ones. Someone's announcing 192.168.20. Find out who that is in a minute.
What's the AS number?
Good question. Find out. Go to open up the web page. So for example, we want to find out who that is. So we can go into here. We can type in 192.168.20. It's probably me you watch. It's that person. Well, it's actually an incomplete route.
65477.
65477.
Okay, cool. Just Shadow.
It's Parahills 3.
Damn it, Parahills 3. Check
We
it
had
out.
that.
Oh no, that's a stuck route. That is a stuck route.
UniSA.
BGP also has this lovely thing called stuck routes, which is when they do an update.
Yes, yeah.
And there's one or two left on the table, which is that one, which I completely forgot about, and we got to fix that. But yeah,
We have a question from the YouTube live chat.
who's it from?
Anonymous.
Anonymous. I am not a qualified BGP technician.
When did the redundant BGP routes become active? The blue ones.
Okay, so when they come active.
When did they become active?
Okay, I can give you a great example. I apologise to the south who are about a net split. So basically what I'm going to do, make this a bit smaller. So click the little unmaximise button. Yep. I'll put it over here, make it a bit longer. Cool. So basically what we're going to do is going to say this route here. So 10.127.128.56/something, because it's not big enough, is currently reachable via O'Halloran Hill. So let's say how the connection between O'Halloran Hill drops. So basically what happens is after 180 seconds, or give or take to keep a live timeout, this peer will drop. What happens when this peer drops was this. So that will drop. And then the routing table will renegotiate. Now obviously it has renegotiated the whole table, don't get scared. But now if you scroll up, you'll notice that there's no routes in here reachable via O'Halloran Hill. I should have chosen one that was actually going we could recreate, which was 10.10 something. But you notice that there's none in here now. And if, for example, when you re-enable that peer, or the link comes back up and the peer re-establishes, this whole table will renegotiate, and you'll have peers here again going via O'Halloran Hill. I would show you a good one, but I'm not going to disable the peer to call one, because we'll lose access to it. BGP is great for redundant paths like that when links drop. It does take a little bit, maybe 30 seconds to renegotiate with all the routers, which is why when a flapping BGP is happening, you can call stuck routes, because it changes and then changes back, and then stuff misses, changes, etc., etc. This one's unreachable. Look at that. There's a couple unreachable ones. Maybe your O'Halloran Hill is broken. Try to break it. Nah, it's all good. Does that answer that question? Yep, hopefully. Basically what happens is the peer drops, it's no longer receiving prefixes from that router anymore, so it basically sends out, or all the other routers say, hey, we know about these prefixes still, and then it just basically gets the prefixes in from them. It's basically talk to your neighbour kind of concept, which is why it's called Border Gateway Protocol, because it's border routers. They talk to each other. That's great. Unless anyone's got any more questions?
No?
No, I've got some non-BGP questions. Or?
Yeah, you can ask me any question you want. Not a spelling question.
Before you were saying that router OS doesn't like non-standard channels or something when you're scanning.
Correct.
What does that mean?
It's fine if you set it up properly. I don't think I have something like that. Does it go to the wireless tab? No, there's no interface, so I can't show you.
You just don't see the channel, you just don't see the sector or
BBR1, I'll show you exactly what I mean. Go to bbr1.Shardo Park. It's not BBR1, it's BBR3.
BBA?
BBR3. No, BBR2. Sorry, it's BBR2. We'll find out that's going to be wrong, you watch. So this is a MikroTik wireless device that we're currently trialling between Shardo Park and Lonsdale. So what I mean is, if you open up this wireless interface, this is a wireless interface, and go to wireless.
I'm in wireless.
No, yeah, go to the wireless interface. No, that's WS interface. Wireless interface. Yep, the one that says WLAN 1. Yep, double click that. Go to the wireless tab. You'll notice here how it's got scan list here. So this scan list, you can either set it to a frequency or default. What default will do is if you click down here, this down arrow, as I understand it, what it does, click down arrow on frequency, on frequency. If you scroll down, this has got super channel mode enabled. These highlighted channels, my experience is that with the default scan list, you only see those channels. So if there's, for example, if there's an AP on, scroll down, like right down to 5840, you'll notice, scroll up, too far. So you'll notice that 5840, scroll down a little bit more, just a couple more. 5840 isn't highlighted. So if I turned, anyway, so if I turned on, so that link is actually on 5840. If I turn on default scan list, you wouldn't be able to see it. So basically, you either want to set it to a range, so say 5500 to 5860. So it will scan that entire range, which is by basically just entering into the scan list. Go to scan list. So yeah, get out of that. Just click there. Click exactly where you were. Yep. So you can enter ranges or comma separated values in here for APs you want to scan for. I suggest you enter a range. The bigger the range, the longer it takes to scan that range. Just be aware of that. Does that answer your question?
Mm-hmm. So it's only choosing like the non-overlapping channels, is that?
Yeah, so it's choosing the ones that are assigned a number. Yeah, it's full channels or whole channels, basically. I had a problem with that when I was trying to stumble for Highgate, the sector which is in 5840. The MikroTik wouldn't pick it up, and I was like, I know there's a sector there. I can see the building, why can't I see the sector? So that's something I discovered then. I haven't used a whole lot of MikroTik wireless, so people probably already knew that, but yeah.
Could I also ask another completely unrelated question, just about certificates generally? Like with installing like the Airstream root certificate, is that known to just be problematic generally?
I haven't had an issue. My laptop has an issue because I haven't actually done it. You need to install it into the root trusted certificates. I've had issues in the past, but I'll show you, for example, what you can do.
I was just wondering because I was just wondering relating to IRC if like every time I open up
certificate
it's like accept certificate, it's like I've accepted everything.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the root certificate, because all the certificates on Airstream are signed by the Airstream root certificate.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the
Go to
Airstream
members
root certificate, accepting your trusted key chain,
log out.
Yeah.
every time it says, oh, sorry, like, what's the certificate? I don't know that it's valid.
Yeah.
Reissued it.
I've tried to add it to the Windows Store and then.
Yeah, I'll show you where I add it to make it work. So basically, you can download it from here. It's very quick. Open file, open. So basically, it's open it. It'll open up the certificate. Cool. Install certificate. Local machine, I think. I've done this a while. And you want to choose place certificate in the following store, and you want to do trusted root certificate authorities. Usually, it just chucks it in the current user profile one. Click next, I'll finish. I mean, and theoretically, that certificate should now be valid. Theoretically, which it isn't, because it's Chrome.
Sorry, that's a
trouble with it in the past, but as long as you, once I learned to put it in the right spot, yeah, that's all. Go to WAN. Well, does it do both? Yeah, it does both.
Yeah, we've got it.
Yeah, so this is now secure. We obviously say, yeah, cool, connection secure. So yeah, if that helps you out.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I think I might be putting it on store.
Yeah, just make sure it goes in the trust of real authorities, because it is a root authority ticket. Sorry?
If you do it in Chrome. Why?
We showed an IE, because Chrome caches certificates.
But where did you add it?
Chrome is a whole lot more fussy about certificates.
Chrome's a whole lot more fussy about everything.
No.
Yeah, so Chrome will eventually sort itself out. But yeah, that's not going to kill Chrome.
Just don't have it as a watch.
Sorry? Double click the certificate.
Doesn't it? Just opens it. What file extension?
Right click it open with.
What file extension is it meant to have?
There we go.
.crt. Yeah, so as you can see, that's now done.
CERT.
What was the file extension on the certificate we just downloaded?
Cook's laptop.
Cool. Excellent. And every year when it breaks, when it expires, we install a new one. Or 2017, this is LT, or was it 18? But the root authority ticket's only 2017, so. Cool. Any other questions? Cool. Everyone's sick of hearing me talk? I'm hoping so. I'm done talking.
Thank you very much, Justo.
Any questions about anything? Feel free
There'll be
to
a test after the live stream on BGP. Hope you memorised the table. 506 prefixes, so you need an 80% pass to leave the room. So yeah, hope these are helping people. These little tech demos, which we've gone from absolutely nothing that was installing masks and bits and pieces to selecting hardware. We're working our way down the line. So I don't know if we've decided what we're doing next month, but creating your own game servers or something. So let us know if you've got ideas as well. Again, we want to hear what topics people would like us to cover, because we're finding these are useful for a lot of people for several reasons. You know, some people are across the basics, but they wanted the BGP stuff. Other people have no clue and want to start from scratch. So you can always revisit all these videos as well on our YouTube channel. They're all still there, so you can jump back in time to have a look at not only this year's, but going back to about 2013, I think we've got. So if you really want to go back and look at the terrible little iPhone quality stream, it's there for sure. You can spend 2 hours watching that. So thanks for watching. I think we'll wrap up here. We'll move on to our door prize stuff, bit of chit chat, there's some drinks and stuff here. So I encourage you to come along to some meetings as well, if you can make it. We're still continuing to put them out here at Parkside. If the location is a problem and we get enough feedback, we can look at alternate locations again. We have had northern meetings before, but let us know. But we love catching up with all the members and seeing where you're up to and hearing all your little projects, and some people that come across from Perth just for the meeting. You know, there's no other reason they've come. So yeah, it's been great. So that's about it from us. We'll sign off, and we will see you next month. Thanks a lot. You can mute the